Hello, and welcome back to Vita Activa. Quick recap, we're discussing the four P's of a well-spirited life. Those four P's are people, purpose, processes, and product. Our whole time on YouTube to date has been concerned with processes I feel are necessary to live and maintain that well-spirited or eudaimonic life. We are getting nearer the end with three processes to discuss. Those three are self-control, being where your feet are, and embracing failure. Today, self-control. As some of you will have inferred, many of the factors being discussed within processes are interconnected. That is, when one improves, the others follow, and vice versa. In delivering therapy, I encourage people whose lives are not what they want them to begin with one good thing. Learn to do one good and important thing well before beginning a second pursuit. Which good thing varies person to person. If you're a young person living in your parents' basement, it's probably going to be getting your mental health in order so you can make the first move toward a more autonomous life. If you're a retired person, it may be about improving connection with loved ones or leaving a legacy that's important to you. Self-control is something we sense in others very quickly. If a person is dysregulated, that is, out of control, we expect them to be loud, impulsive, sometimes rude, sometimes dangerous. But that's only one half of the dysregulated population. The half psychology classifies as hyper-aroused. Per Delitzsch's window of tolerance, synonyms for hyper-arousal include anxiousness, chaos, aggression, impulsivity, and being easily overwhelmed. Hyper-arousal can foster addiction, eating issues, obsessive behaviors, and personal rigidity. The other half of those people suffering from dysregulated behaviors are less noticeable, appear less in public, but suffer at least as harshly as the hyper-aroused population. These folks are referred to as hypo-aroused. Hyper is above, hypo is below in Greek. Synonyms include being absent or dissociated, i.e. tuned out, shut down, and or unavailable. Hypo-arousal can foster disconnectedness, functioning on autopilot, emotionlessness, and or memory loss. Either end of the arousal continuum is toxic. And what is toxicity? It too stems from the Greek idea, which pertained to bows, as in bows and arrows. The toxic substance was applied to the end of the arrow so that if successfully delivered, the arrow not only caused trauma to the flesh, but to the bloodstream and or the nervous system as well. Toxins kill. Hypo and hyper-arousal can also easily lead to death. This is why one of my favorite premises is that everything we do is a choice. For most people, sadly, they fail to learn or accept that premise, living with the counter premise that wishes have wings. If we are adherents of evidence-based thinking, we view human beings' most precious possession as their time. It cannot be bought, traded, or created short of fostering good health within self and others, which may, if we are fortunate, increase the length and ease of our lives. Which brings us right back to choices and self-control. If you accept that you can make choices all day long, you begin to assume ownership of yourself and your life. If you reject or ignore the responsibility involved in accepting your choice-making capacity, you live Socrates' unexamined life, or what I think of as a life of defaults. You like what the marketers, loud people, and cultural norms of your time insist is right. Living an examined life is challenging the ideas of the loud social mediums of our time. Nothing about accepting responsibility for your choices is easy. If we take a person with addictive behaviors as an example, we can see some of the challenges that person encounters. To begin, their career in addictive behaviors was a choice. The first time they used alcohol, cocaine, or cannabis, that was a choice. I have met many people who tried some or all of these drugs and said, no thanks, not for me, and basically lived without these substances. I have heard dozens of 12-step accounts from people in AA and NA, both stating that the first time they got high, their lives changed in one euphoric blast. That blast went something like this. They chose to attend a high school dance with tremendous reluctance and anxiety because they were convinced they were losers, i.e., people not getting what they wanted in the maelstrom of high school attendance. That night, a buddy offered them a substance, and that substance blew their minds. They danced frequently and with many partners they thought would never even look at them. They felt like great dancers, popular people, accepted people. What I have heard many times is that the first high was the first time that person felt normal. Those folks had been subsisting in the almost constant belief of being below par as a human being. Fast forward 10 years, and that person is living in brutal couch to couch circumstances, cadging drinks wherever possible, and living a life of relentless addictive urges. How do they end up clean and sober a few years later? Again, the 12-step expression that best captures my understanding of that experiential reality is becoming sick and tired of being sick and tired. There comes a death knell, the internal and external indicators that the life of raging addiction is a one-way ticket to an early demise. It might be fear, frustration, anger, rebellion, or any combination, but they make a choice. That choice gets them to their first meeting, and things change or they don't. Either way, some choices are beginning to be made, and my suspicion is that the introduction of choice making is so foreign to that brain that the neural circuitry opens a whole new sub-network of contemplated change orders rather than running 24/7 on default behaviors. That new sub-network is how the light gets in. I want to be crystal clear about this. It ain't easy. It feels way harder than the default. It is uncomfortable as hell and it hurts. But it's also the only way out. Most readers will know the steps that person has to make to get a life organized into a manageable project. Both of our subject concepts are involved every day and most minutes of those days, maintaining self-control long enough to make responsible choices. If you don't have the self-control, you're reacting to emotional impulses. If you have self-control, you're making evidence-based choices based on an accepted principle that says something like, if I lose my shit, I'll screw this up. Take a breath, take a break, walk away to chill out if you need to, but don't lose your composure, because the minute you flip your lid, you're out of the window of tolerance and into hypo-arousal, i.e., out of the zone of self-control. Thank you for thinking and acting. More next week. Be well.